This is the VDK Vesta, a VDK Vlad Domazirov Knife Company. I think I'm pronouncing his last name correctly. You know him from other hits like the War Admiral and the Impaler and several other folding knives. He's a designer out of California, last I checked, who has his knives made by We Knife Company. This one is his latest, and actually, I'm not sure if we made this, but I don't have any evidence to the contrary. So going off of his past knives, I would say that this is probably made by We. It is a very, very nice build and a very interesting knife. I've had this for a couple of weeks now, thanks to A Therapeutic Edge. You know him. Great knife channel, and he's got a great knife pass-around group. Thank you, Peter, for loaning this out. It's much appreciated. I was interested in checking this out. Vlad was going to come on the podcast a couple of times, but never quite made it. But maybe he'll get back in touch, and maybe we'll try and do it again. But I said some things about this knife when it first came in over on Thursday Night Knives. I said it was a face only a mother could love. And yeah, sounds like a diss, but actually it's a really good knife. Something about the design to me right around here is awkward. Maybe it's that opening hole. So I was predisposed not to like this knife, I gotta say. And then when I got it in hand, I realized, oh, I get it. It's very comfortable in hand and extremely ergonomically sound. This area right here that looks awkward to the eye is very nice in the hand and really adds to the usability of this knife. That being said, I haven't really used it much, but you know, after you have a few knives in hand and you use a few others, you can kind of tell what's going to work and what's not. And I think that this is a very good knife. Despite personal peccadillos in the design and the look, you know, I'm a superficial guy. I readily admit it. Looks have a lot to do with my enjoyment of a knife. But here, the hand really appreciates this knife and the way it's set up ergonomically. This would be a very good EDC for someone who likes a 4-inch bladed knife. This is a big knife. I'll do some size comparisons in a minute. But also, the blade stock is nice and thin, and it's almost fully flat ground, except for this nice long swedge, which helps with penetration, and this long belly. It's very thin and slicey behind the edge. I have cut paper with it, you know, kind of a low impact indication of how sharp the knife is and how it might perform. And I think, here I've got keep getting some fingerprints on it. I think that this is probably quite an excellent everyday carry knife for using. This has D2 blade steel, as you can see, and gorgeous G10, raw G10, jade G10, natural G10, whatever you want to call it. It's a polarizing material. People don't like jade G10. I find a lot of people don't like it. I like it. I like its translucence, and I love how it looks next to a black blade. So, you know, this, despite this little area that sticks in my craw line-wise, just to the eye, it is beautiful. I mean, the way that the handles are contoured, it's very comfortable. This particular color combination to me is beautiful. And if you look at Vlad's Instagram, he makes this in a number of iterations, and you can see this with a Damasteel or Damascus blade, patterned blade that's really nice, and different handle colors. And look here, look at how beautifully milled out these liners are. It's just kind of like a truss on a bridge. It's just what you need to be rigid and solid without adding any extra weight, or hardly any extra weight. It's a liner lock, as you can see. It functions really well. It flies out. It's, you know, super smooth and super fall shutty. whoops, once you get it past that detent ball. But that's not, you know, in normal use, if you're just closing it, it's not an issue at all. As a matter of fact, you don't even feel that the detent ball is there. It's just kind of when you do that shake thing. Oh man. So really great action, great ergonomics, an interesting look. Really is an interesting look. You look at all of Vlad's designs, they all have some very unique and interesting design features to them. I'm thinking of the War Admiral right now, which is a big kind of cleavery, Warncliffy thing with a peak, with a menacing peak towards the tip of the blade. I mean, it's got a very interesting design. And look at how the light plays off of the swedge and the nearly fully flat ground bevel there. Just really nice execution, very unique design. Reverse grip is the one place that, to me, it's not as ergonomic. You know, I like, instead of a pointy pommel, I like something a little bit more to wrap my thumb over. But really, this sort of grip is very theoretical for me. You know, I don't find myself using this grip often. I usually say, you know, it'd be great, you know, if you need to pound it into a 55-gallon oil drum. In this case, you know, this grip is great for that. Also, obviously, it's great for tactical use, but really, chances are, if you really need this to save your life, you're in a hell of a pinch anyway, so it's not going to matter much how this feels. So that's the one position I don't really feel that this works for me, but any other position, it's very feels very, very nice in hand, even up here. And generally, I don't like a swedge that comes this far back because I like a little bit more meat on the back of the blade. But if you ride your thumb up to really do some work like this, it's actually pretty comfortable there, despite that swedge. Yeah, and I really like the shape of the blade. It's very, very, very useful shape, and that belly is nice. But it also seems to have a bit of a straight there, even though it's continuously curved. If you look at it, it seems like from the ricasso, or from the sharpening choil to about halfway down the blade, even though it starts to curve there, you have a bit of useful flat there. And then if you look at it this way, kind of the same, because it's such a gradual curve and because it's a long blade. Got a nice sculpted pocket clip there. Tumbled finish. Looks like it may have been carried a little bit, but that tumble finish sort of takes care of any scarring or what have you on the clip. Nice black liners. I love the look. Boom, boom, boom. I love that. I know some of you can't stand the Jade G10. It is a taste thing, I guess. Some have good taste, some have bad taste. No, I'm just kidding. But this really does do it for me. And not for nothing, but if you get something like this, you can dye the handle pretty much any color. And I think, I've never done it myself, but I think that this green is somewhat neutral. So if you put a blue dye on it, it's going to come out blue as opposed to aquamarine. I could be wrong about that. Leave comments if you've done that before and let me know. Nice design from a nice young man. Let me roll in a couple of other knives for size comparison. Here's your standard PM2. So pretty substantially larger than the PM2, but sleeker, more svelte than the PM2. And let me get a 3-inch knife in here so you can kind of see. Here it is with another Spyderco, the Delica. Well, those colors look nice together. So Delica dwarfed by the VDK Vesta. So I pulled out a couple of other flippers. You know, I'm not a huge flipper collector. I have a number of them, but I've tended away from flippers. But here are a couple that I have. The Dogma by Civivi, a great knife. Love this knife. Every time I pull this out, Jim's like, man, that's a pretty knife. So one of these days I might just send it his way. Even though it was a gift to me from Joe Frazier, Knife Whisperer, and I tend not to give away or sell gift knives. But if I were to give this to Jim because he loves it so much, it'd be keeping it in the family. You know what I mean? I'd always know where it was if need be. Here's the Asticus. So, and still a funny name. Still makes me giggle like a 12-year-old boy. But as you can see, the handle is about the same, but the blade is about a 1/4 inch shorter, which just goes to show you what a great handle to blade ratio the Vesta has. And I think that curve has a little bit to do with it. Let me show it off with two other big flipper knives. This knife that I absolutely love, the Off Grid Knives Scorpion, about the same in blade length. I love this knife. This is a great knife. And then here it is with another great knife, the ZT-0452, which is just slightly larger, a little bit bigger in the handle. But we know this to be a big knife and a big blade. And then here, for contrast, I pulled this out. Let me put these over to the side. I pulled this out just for contrast in design. Now, it's a flipper. It's a great flipper. This was given to me by, oh my gosh, by BJ Hill. And really, this is the Matt Degnan designed Roach by Kaiser in their Vanguard line. And I pulled it out because, similar to the Vesta, it's got great action and interesting ergonomics and an interesting design, but it's sort of like the opposite, you know, that's big and bulbous and overt, and this is kind of sleek, slender, and subtle. So an interesting contrast there. And oh, I wanted to show it with this too. Kind of in the same realm in terms of size, but also in the same realm as this in that it's a very stark contrast with the Vesta. So this is the Fox-made MK Ultra, designed by Jason Knight. So the Vesta, the VDK Vesta, mixed emotions on this, but not based on quality or anything other than my own personal taste. And that is just the look right around this area, right around that area. But like I said, once I got it in hand, I understood the design. The one thing I don't understand is the cutout. The cutout is 100% vestigial in terms of function, and it is just a design flourish. And maybe that's what sticks in my craw about it, is that there's really no way to Spidey flick it, and there's definitely no way to get your thumb in there. So it is maybe just to lighten up the blade a little. Who thinks this looks a bit like a crested dinosaur? I do. That was a loaded question. So check it out. Check out Vlad's work, VDK Knife Company. Interesting, very interesting designs from him, and high quality make through We Knives. And Vlad, if you see this, let me know who made this. I did a little bit of research, but did not find where it was from, so or who manufactured it. But whoever did, they did a beautiful job. All right, well, everybody, thank you for watching.